Have you ever wondered how your friend manages to stay on schedule even though she has more kids than you, when you feel like you're being hit on all sides anytime you try and do something in an even remotely timely fashion? How do they not get thrown off schedule when you do? What's their secret? Hi, I'm Catherine with CatherineRachel.com. Stay tuned and I'll give you 5 of my best tips for staying on track. So, luckily, my father is one of those people who can keep a schedule. Then I got married to a schedule keeper who reinforced what my father tried to teach me growing up. Honestly, I did try over and over again when I was younger, but didn't manage to succeed until later. Here are the lessons they taught me, a non-schedule follower. The first one is start on your tasks as soon as possible. I learned this first from my dad, then my husband, and lastly, my son. Apparently, it was a little difficult for me to catch on to this concept. If they have a to-do list, they get busy on it right away. I tend to think, oh, I've got all day, I'll get started on it soon, or I'll just check my email really quick and then I'll get started. Guess who gets their list done for the day? The people who always take immediate action. My dad, my husband, my son. Meanwhile, my daily task list ends up being a weekly task list. The next tip is to find a way to reschedule unplanned situations. If an emergency does arrive, ask yourself, is there any way I can stay focused on my current task and then deal with the emergency? An example is I needed to make a dentist appointment for my kids. I thought 15 minutes would suffice for this task. However, the dentist didn't take the type of insurance we had any longer. I then had to find a new dentist, and 3 hours later finally had made their appointment. This blew my schedule out of the water for the day. What I should have done was realize that because of the new circumstances, it would take longer, put finding a new dentist in my schedule for the following week, and then stayed on task for the rest of the day. The third tip is limit your decisions as much as possible. I'm sure you've heard the story of why Steve Jobs wore the same outfit all of the time. But just in case you haven't, it was one less decision that he made. This gave him more willpower to make wise choices on important decisions. I'm not asking you to wear a black shirt every day. We are women after all. But if there are decisions you can eliminate, then do it. Taco Tuesday is one my family enjoys, and it keeps me from having to come up with one more meal plan. If this is something your family would get tired of, eating tacos every day, or every Tuesday, try and narrow down the decision. Have Mexican Monday instead, which will give you some variety, but it'll still limit your choices. Feel free to switch it up every now and then so you don't get too bored, but try and follow a pattern for a little while at first. Maybe try 6 weeks of the same and then 1 week of change. The next tip is to follow the same routine as much as possible. There's a reason our parents gave us a bedtime every night. We would know what to expect and our bodies would get used to the pattern, so there usually would be less of an argument. Also, your brain knows this is the time that you set aside for this task, so you're more likely to follow through. I'm an introvert and it's easy for me to stay home, but I know doing this for too long isn't good for me. So, to help with this, I set aside one afternoon where I run all my errands like doctor's appointments, groceries, play dates, etc. Yes, I get out of the house for more than one afternoon a week, but this is when I force myself to do things I would normally tend to put off, like going to the dentist. The more you stick to the routine, the more likely you are to follow through on your commitments. It's just something you've become accustomed to doing, like going to bed at 8 on a school night was your custom when you were little. Following the same routine will also help limit your decisions. Since you know you have to go to your yoga class at 9 a.m., you won't have to decide what to do with that hour of your day. Having a routine will also take the burden off of trying to remember everything. Since you already know what you should be doing, you won't be trying to figure out what you're supposed to do. It may even help you not walk into the kitchen for one reason, totally forget why you're there, remember something you were supposed to do in your office, go to your office, forget why you're there, but remember why you're supposed to be in the kitchen, go back to the kitchen, but then never make it back to your office. We can hope so anyways, right? The last tip, the most important, is give yourself a break. You can only go full throttle for so long before you run out of gas. You need to refuel so you can keep going strong. I take off 1 day a week. My downtime starts Friday evening and lasts through Saturday evening. It really helps me make it through the week. This time frame might not work for you, but I do suggest taking a 24-hour period every week where you give yourself a break. You have worked hard all week and you deserve it. Give it a try, see how refreshing it is for you. I hope these help you manage your day better. Do you know of any other tricks to stay on task? If so, please share them in the comments. All the non-scheduled followers would be grateful. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified when the next one is up. Thanks for watching. See you next week.